All right. I am so happy to see Joanne Nasachinsky, Goodhart. I still go straight to Nasachinsky, but then Goodhart fits you so well as well. So it's just
Thank you.
altogether fabulous. So happy to see you. Thank you for being here. I gotta say, I miss seeing you every morning.
I know.
I
I
still watch the
know.
program, but it's not the same. Like,
Yeah,
it's
it's really not. And I gotta say, gosh, being behind a paywall was great in terms of the stuff we could show. Using music and video and things to add to conversation. It's just
Mhm.
a little harder when you're only on YouTube. So that's something I don't mean to, sorry, get ahead of introductions and things. I don't know if your viewers know who I
Not at all.
am.
I
And
think that, whoever is watching knows exactly who you are
okay.
and what is our relation. We used to be coworkers at Compound,
Yes.
and, I was in some shape or form, a producer, segment producer, who knows what I did. I
You
was a little
literally
bit
did
of everything.
everything.
There you go. And we worked every morning, almost every morning together. And the program was behind the paywall, like Joanne was just saying. And it's so much easier. You're absolutely right. You can get creative. You can get nasty, if you will. You can say anything
Yeah.
you want. You can play music without everything and anything being flagged. And it was just now I realize how free we were to
Yeah.
to be creative. But hey, it is what it is at this point. I'm still
Yeah.
watching morning.
Oh,
I
that's so sweet of you. You and about 12 other people. So thank you.
Well, all 12 of us have fantastic taste.
I will
Uh,
say the 12 who are still here are the
Fantastic.
real deal.
Great. That is 12 more than I have. And I must say that out of those 12, I think 3 of them are my other family members. I have to check. My sister is a huge fan of morning.
Oh,
And
really?
yes, my family back home follows morning the most out of every show
Oh, that
ever.
is so nice.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
They kinda never got around, the dump. I wonder why. I don't know.
Well, it's an acquired taste.
It truly is. They're old-fashioned, who cares?
Yeah.
But one of the first and foremost, what have you been, doing lately? I know that you are all over Broadway, like, hanging out with famous actors, so just a little update on what's going on with you, and then I must spill the tea with you because that's just what my heart desires.
Oh, heck yeah. Well, in the fall, I was in an off-Broadway show called Walden. I was the understudy for Emmy Rossum and Zoe Winters. Zoe has been on the show Succession.
Mhm.
And so I actually got to go on for Zoe 5 times. I got to perform this play, which was very exciting. I knew ahead of time, so I was able to mentally prepare. But I ended up playing Emmy Rossum's twin sister for 5 performances,
Wow.
um, which was really great. But because I played both lead women or understudied both lead women, I had to memorize like the entire play. It was a really huge undertaking that really sort of stretched that muscle of memorization and preparation, but I absolutely loved it. And so then once it ended in November, I just became depressed because there's
Mhm.
nothing else for me to do. I did shoot an episode of the show FBI on CBS. I
Mhm.
actually think that will be airing next week,
Oh,
episode
that's crazy.
13. Yeah, so everyone,
So soon.
but yeah, so I've just been, you know, just trying to keep busy. Uh,
Mhm.
I will likely go back to bartending. I couldn't yet because I'm about to go on a trip to New Orleans. I'm going for a week for Mardi Gras. So it's kind of hard to start a new job and be like, oh, hey, in a couple weeks I won't be here for a while. So
Mhm.
I think come March when I'm back, uh, yeah, I'll have to kind of go back to a day job, which
Mhm.
stinks as an actor, but like it's just necessary. We're used to it.
It really stinks, especially when you hit such a high, like playing next to Amy Rossum, who's one of my favorites because I was a huge Shameless fan. I always
Sure.
loved her. And I do want to ask you, how is she to work with? Is,
Yeah.
is she Blake Live? I'm kidding. Is she like very cooperative and open? I had a friend and I interviewed her a couple of months ago. She's also an actor. And oh, cheers! Oh, damn it! I had wine.
Yeah, I'm drinking. It's late here, so.
Oh, fantastic. I literally ran straight from work. I had no time to prepare anything. But she worked with Kate Winslet on a project.
Okay.
And Kate kind of picked her personally. She saw all the tapes and picked my friend and really made sure to spend some time with my friend Kata and explain her. It was a small role, but it was in a movie. I forgot the name of the movie, just came out, latest of Kate. And she just gave her such a wonderful experience and made her feel seen and respected. So I don't know if you had the time to even build anything with Emmy or how that worked.
Yeah, I really came into rehearsals toward the end. The understudies came in during Tech Week, which is when all of the technical elements come together with all of the acting rehearsals. Um, but on day one of like meet and greets of rehearsal, she came right up to me to chat a little bit. And she always made a point to make me feel comfortable. She's very gracious. She would know everyone's name. She was very generous too. On some of our longer days, she would have some catering come in or some
Mhm.
treats for us. And let me tell you, she, I think, is the kind of actress that if I reach that level of fame or success, I would want to be.
Oh,
She was
wow.
memorized on day one. She was fully prepared. She was always early. Um, so that is, I really respond to that. But as a result, I knew I was never going to get to play her part because I
Mhm.
I asked her point blank. I was like, "Were you the kind of student who was never absent? Like you were at every class?" And she said, "Well, I was working as a child. So, but yeah, when I would attend school, like I was never late. I was always there." And I was like, "I knew it. You're type A, you're a perfectionist like me. And so you are not going to miss a show if you can help it." And she never did. But no, she was really great to work with. And it was her first theater, like off Broadway show. So I think she still, she had a little nerves too, which was
Mhm.
really the humanity of that was nice to see, like she didn't have
Mhm.
a big head about anything, which was nice.
Oh, wow. Was she trying to like change a lot of things and become a producer and step on director's feet? Like, no, I'm kidding. I'm segueing into Blake and the whole
Oh,
drama.
I know. I know. Well, honestly, maybe on TV sets, she might have a little more sway. I'm pretty sure she had even directed an episode of
I believe
Shameless.
so. You're right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, but in theater, I think she was really trusting the people around her.
Mhm.
But I feel like most actors, you tend to get pretty not territorial, but protective over the part you're playing because you have really strong ideas about who the character is and you spend a lot of time with the character. So in certain ways to that, like she was very adamant about things she felt about the character, but she was always open to feedback.
Mhm.
Unlike other celebrities,
Mhm.
helping you with
I
this
wish that
segue.
Steve was here to bring that little segue
I
graphic to
know,
go
I know.
the good old days. But I just remember that you and I both always disliked um, Anne Hathaway
Yes.
and Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
And two of the ladies that I want to talk about today are kind of in that same bracket, with Meghan Markle being very similar to Anne Hathaway. She's giving me that calm energy a
Yeah.
little bit, and with Blake being Jennifer Lawrence vibe, like, look, I'm cool and I'm talkative and I'm telling jokes and like I'm quick with my puns, not realizing that she's not relatable and is
Yes.
actually annoying.
Yep.
So they kinda are in that area, I
Yeah.
would say, of,
Well, and, I think it's important to say, we've never met these women,
true.
but a lot of people haven't met these women. So we are
Mhm.
all just basing our
Agreed.
opinions off of what they are putting out there. And I
Mhm.
think the thing that gives us the ick is that idea of relatability, of authenticity. They're
Mhm.
trying to exude this authentic, relatable nature, but it doesn't feel that way to the people who are just seeing them from the outside, you know?
Mhm, mhm. It is, something that they both struggled the most, and for Meghan, that mask kinda fell, years ago, right
Yeah.
after they left, UK, which I'm going to visit for the first time in May,
Oh,
and
nice.
I just have to. I know that you visited for, I think it was for your anniversary or for your
Honeymoon.
honeymoon, right? So I definitely have to go because I'm obsessed with royal family and the whole thing royal. Not to call Meghan royal, by the way,
Mm.
but Meghan was just like people saw right through her, and that's what the problem with her is. And we'll dive a little more into her other issues, but with Blake, it's like we were not as aware
Yeah.
as how deep it was until the veil was really like revealed recently. It was
Yeah.
like the Wizard of Oz was still there, but now we know it's not there with Blake. It's just I was taken by surprise.
Yeah,
She was always slightly annoying, like, okay, calm it down, like, come on, you don't
mhm.
have to talk that much. But like
It's
to see other angles of her and
yeah.
how forced everything is by her and Ryan and not natural and bantery.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is she had a little bit of the cool girl factor going for her right out of the gate because of her character on Gossip Girl, which is
Mhm.
how she kind of first rose to stardom. So that character was like a little more like cool and aloof. And we're like, oh, there
Always
must be
exist.
some of that in her.
Mhm.
And then even with her, like, oh, she doesn't use a stylist. She does all of that herself. That's kind of cool. Like, good for her for having that confidence. And generally, things look good on her. So good on her. But then you start to, and now we don't know who is putting it out there, whose
Mhm.
camp or what's going on. But we're seeing these snippets of interviews and things online that have been out there, but
Mhm.
we have just it's now framed in a new way that we're like,
Mhm.
"Oh, this feels really calculating," and like she and possibly her husband are navigating the story or trying to make themselves look a certain way in a certain light, and it's all kind of calculated.
Mhm. So do you let's go back at the beginning, and I wanted to ask you this question first.
Yeah.
There was this quote that she said, and let me see if I can. I know I kind of put it on paper for that, but it's kind of uh, when you're acting with somebody and it's an intimate scene and you're supposed to kiss and make out and be sexy and look sexy. Uh, if you're discussing being sexy in that whole, I don't know, set up, um, uh, how do you not cross the line of offending and being inappropriate with an actor? With that being said, like, let's say she was a little bit self-conscious about her weight because she just had her fourth baby, and she said he wasn't very nice about it, yada yada. But there were these times where he was trying to encourage her and say, no, 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 you look amazing, you're going to look more sexy in this and that. And then she took that as him being inappropriate.
Mhm.
So if somebody was trying to maybe lift you up and say, wow, actually that costume looks very sexy, go for it, it's going to work with the scene. Like, how do you find, is it like the creep energy from a person that you might feel and
Yeah,
have an
I it's such a shame because so many women, I feel like, especially if they're in like bit parts,
Mhm.
might, it's always, stripper 4 or like prostitute C, whoever is, a bit part in a lot of these movies. Uh, I'm sure that they have been in scenarios where they have felt uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. You're
Mm,
not actually a stripper or a prostitute, and we're trying to make it look like you are. And I could see how in those scenarios where maybe someone doesn't have a lot of clout, they don't have a lot on their resume, they're happy to be working, that they're maybe a little uncomfortable, but they don't say anything because it's like, well,
mhm,
this is just my job and whatever. I'll be okay, like whatever. But for someone like Blake, if she were uncomfortable, it makes me really sad to think that she couldn't, in that moment, say to Justin, who is, yeah, he's directing the film too, but like he's her equal, that she couldn't say in the moment, I'm uncomfortable with that. Like,
Mhm.
please don't comment on my weight. Or I understand that you're trying to make me feel good, but it's actually making me uncomfortable. And I don't know, it's just like in the moment, you got to squash it. And because you have this status, we need you to pave the way to do that for
Mhm.
other people. So to hear
Mhm.
it after the fact, I think that's why a lot of people are confused by the whole thing. They're like, what do you mean this bothered you? You couldn't put an end to it right in the moment?
It all sounds very sus. And by the way, I was a prostitute for uh years ago, and I was 17. So God bless Montenegro and
Oh
their
boy.
laws. And we were filming in the evening, and I was mortified. I actually didn't know that, because we were extras and we were covering everything. And I was like the main character's sister for 3 days. And then that day, it was like, oh no, you're going to wear this. And it was like a bikini
Oh
basically
boy.
and fishnets. And I'm like, why? And they're like, oh, tonight you guys are playing prostitutes and police is going to raid the place. And I'm like, okay. So one of you has to be a lead prostitute, right? And there we are in fishnets, and they gave us giant jackets because it was
Sure.
very cold outside. And then director wanted to see us. We came to the director and opened our jackets, and we were twirling, and like you said, it was uncomfortable, but it was a job, and I was 17 and I knew it. And the director was like, okay, thank you so much, ladies, appreciate it. And I was picked for the main hoe, so that was great.
Yeah.
But anyways, again, a little uncomfortable, but you know why you're there. He didn't
Yeah.
touch me, he didn't say anything. It just, it's hard to believe. And a lot of things with this Blake thing don't make sense, much like you just said earlier. First of all, she she's an A-lister. He is not there yet. So she
Mhm.
kind of has the upper hand when it comes to that. And then she also made sure to tell him, I have my dragons. I am Khaleesi. I have Taylor Swift, and I have my husband behind me. So she was exercising her power with him. And
Mhm.
then if you were really feeling uncomfortable and you complained to Sony, why didn't you sue Sony as
Yeah.
well? Also, why is Sony not backing you up? Imagine such a big company allowing for an A-list actress to be harassed. They would never do that. So something doesn't add up. Are you Khaleesi, or are you a victim? Like, she was just trying to um, assert herself so much and show him how powerful and smart and amazing she is, but yet she can't say that she's uncomfortable in the moment. I
Yeah.
believe, like, we don't know. We all say things like, you don't know what you would do in the moment, but I know that I would speak up. Maybe not that specific second, but I would go to the trailer later and say, hey, listen, it doesn't make me feel, it's all good. It's not a problem. Just keep it in mind. And then you take it from there. But
Yeah.
it just it doesn't add up much
I
to
think
me.
probably right, we all I think oftentimes stuff can get amplified,
Hmm.
and then when it does, the people around us amplify it even more, like her dragons. So, right, it was the whole press junket. That's kind of when all of this started. The rumors about her being difficult or trying to call shots. And then she's like, probably has, Taylor Swift or these other people around her who have had similar criticisms about them,
Hmm.
not trying to be silenced or not staying sweet or whatever. And they're like, this can't fly. What is his camp doing? Why are they doing this? You're supposed to be on the same team. Also, you're trying to promote this idea or this subject matter about domestic violence or actually no, she was the one who wasn't. See, that's where it doesn't make sense. it's like female empowerment, but to what degree? Yeah, I don't know. I'm confused by all of it. And honestly, that's how most of the public feels. And truly, I feel like no one is on either camp anymore. Most people dislike both Justin and Blake Lively at this point.
Um, Honestly, I kind of dislike them both,
Yeah.
but I still believe majority is on Blake Lively's side still.
Yeah.
Uh, but again, he looks like a, oh man, douchebag with a bun. When a man has a bun and claims he's a feminist, he's dead to me. I'm not listening anymore. We're not. It's just
Although,
it's
Luby,
phony.
did you see Jane the Virgin?
No, I've seen clips.
So that
He
was a
looks very
TV
handsome.
show maybe 10 years ago,
Hmm.
maybe just slightly less, but a while ago. And he was like the love interest character on this show. Girl, let me tell you, he did his job. Like, he was good in that show. And that's when I started like following him on
Hmm.
Instagram. I then also follow his wife. I think his wife might have had a small part on that show or another show. And then, I saw when he became a father and then he wrote this book about how to be a good man. And, it got a little, okay, we're all trying to make money. I get it.
Hmm.
And so then when I saw he was doing this film with Blake Lively, I was just very surprised by all of it. But that's kind of where, what is Blake's husband's name? Why did I just,
Ryan Reynolds.
oh
Hmm.
my God, how did I blank on that?
Just say Deadpool. That's
But that I think is where the Deadpool like joke comes in, which now I guess is in Justin Baldoni's suit as well, of Ryan
Mhm,
Reynolds making fun of him and that brand of guy. I
mhm,
don't think Justin Baldoni has a case there because it could be any person. There's a whole type of guy who is like that. So it's not like
mhm.
specifically him. But yeah, it's I can yeah, there's an ick there, there is.
There is an ick there, and whichever decision led him to become that is an ick in different
Yeah,
ways. If you have leaned into it because it was a Me Too era and it was a good timing to do that and do the TED talk of like how men should just shut the hell up and listen to women, or you truly are the guy that like again has a man bun and like looks at you in the eyes and tells you that he's a feminist.
yeah,
Either way, it's ick and slightly creepy. And I'm always very suspicious of people who present themselves that way.
yeah.
Just like I'm suspicious of like I'm a girl's girl. Like I
Oh,
know
yeah,
immediately you're
I
going to
hate that.
backstab me. Oh yeah, yeah, we're
Well,
over.
I hate I'm a girl's girl, and I also hate I'm a guy's girl. Anyone who defines themselves in that way, I'm like, "But you want people to like you or dislike you. You want people to pick a side at that point, and that's annoying."
That's a pick me girl.
Yeah,
Exactly. That's it. But the one thing that people are not the happiest about, especially because of the latest thing, is that Blake that didn't come with facts. She
yeah,
came with mostly emotions and observations.
mhm.
And then as soon as she sued Justin in December, I mean, Justin hired Jesus Christ. What's his name now? I'm blanking. His lawyer, Brian Friedman, who is
Good for you, I didn't have that
he
memorized.
is an animal. He's Meghan Kelly's lawyer. He's like just
Oh, okay.
he's an insane guy. And like everybody knows him as like a shark. Like he will fight for you and he will shed blood. It's not a problem for him.
Mhm.
And they say that I don't know if you have you seen the website that they released?
I've seen news articles that have pulled from it. I haven't gone to the actual webpage.
I am ashamed to say that I kind of glanced at it.
You
I know
every
I need
morning
to
with
go
your cup
light.
of
I get it.
coffee.
I know. I know. This is
That's
what I live
great.
for. This and Bravo TV. It's so sad. I didn't honestly didn't have the patience, but I just wanted to kind of glance. And like the website, as petty as it is, it's really packed with receipts.
Yeah.
As housewives would say, receipts,
Yeah.
timeline.
Well, here's
He
what's
has it all.
crazy. I don't know who taught him this, because typically it's the women who do this, screenshot everything.
There you go.
He screenshotted like all of their texts, all of these things that she's saying. One specific example, when she was like, I was pumping in my trailer and he came in and I was like half naked and like, breasts exposed or whatever. She had texted him, want to come to my trailer and run some lines? I'm just here pumping. So confusing, very confusing, but he has the receipts. You're right. And um God, it's wild that that's the kind of world we have to live in now, I guess, is like no matter what conversation you have, document, like make sure it is documented, so you have legal proof, because her legal team, I think, just refiled something,
Mhm.
and I think it's essentially saying that there are witnesses who will come forward to testify if need be. We won't say who they are or what it is, and legally, that's just, it's hearsay is what they would be sharing in court. So they're not even sure if that makes a difference.
Mhm.
But yeah, again, hearsay versus screenshots. I don't know.
That's going to be a tough one, honestly. Um, uh, actually I have a little segment from it, and it's an amended complaint. I have no idea what that is. I was looking into it today. It's like if you are not happy with your lawsuit you filed, you have a right for a certain amount of time to add more documents and more
Okay.
proof. So that's what they filed, and the deadline was at midnight, and they filed at 11:58. So
Jeez. That
God.
that poor intern at the law office who had to get all that done.
They're
Brutal.
saying that they were begging the other women to give their names,
Mhm.
and they were waiting till last minute, thinking they will actually do it. And they think it's Jenny Slate and
Yeah.
the girl Ferreira girl who played young Blake. They think
Oh,
it's two of them,
okay.
and that they were actually trying to like literally were begging, give us your names and give us the approval to do so, but they don't want to do it. And
Yeah, I
again,
wonder why.
because the whole world is going to hate on them, and
I
God knows
know.
where this is going, and I don't understand. So yeah, in amended complaint, attorneys for Blake Lively added 50 more pages against co-star Justin Baldoni, furthering the details to Lively's initial allegations of sexual harassment. It was filed in New York, yada, 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 yada. Okay. Another female co stars reported concerns about Baldoni to Sony film distributor, according to Lively's complaint. Yada, 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 yada. No names, no nothing. Goodbye. And then Baldoni's lawyers, of course. Uh, I mean, there's a whole segment of nothingness. I wanted to read it, but there's nothing.
Yeah.
They will talk when we need to, if it comes down to that. It's just not enough. And then his lawyers wrote, our clients have been transparent in providing receipts, real-time documents, and video showing a completely different story than what has been manipulated and cherry-picked to the media. Our clients have taken this matter and these issues very seriously, notwithstanding the jokes that were made publicly. We'll go back to that,
Mm.
by plaintiff and her husband. Her underwhelming amended complaint is filled with I can't pronounce the word.
Unsubstantiated?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hearsay from unnamed persons who are clearly no longer willing to come forward or publicly support her claims. Since documents do not lie and people do, the
Mm,
upcoming depositions of those two who initially supported Ms.
damn.
Lively and all of their false claims will come to the enlightening. What truly is uncomfortable here is Miss Lively's lack of actual evidence. They're
Yeah.
right. They're
What's
right.
what's
I'm sorry.
crazy is, let's say maybe Blake just wanted to do this to, yeah, for like to put herself on a platform as a pro woman, pro speaking up kind of a thing. Did her and her team expect this to go to court? Maybe they were hoping for some sort of a settlement or an apology so she could feel like she had the upper hand. But the fact then that Justin and his people did a countersuit, and what is it, March 9th? This is going to trial. This is wild. But even more important, Luby, did you see the movie?
Yes.
Not that great. Why are we
is
not talking about that?
That is the most important part. You're absolutely right. I watched it on Valentine's Day just because
Oh
it
my
made
God.
sense. Full circle. Come on. I mean, I've watched enough clips that I knew that I'm not going to like it just because it's cheesy, predictable.
Yeah.
It just not that much depth to it as much as they were trying to
Yeah.
present it as that. Um, it's a lifetime type of movie for me. That's how I saw it.
See, I
And
love Lifetime movies,
beach, I live for them.
but
I would love
this
to be in one eventually. Like,
me too, girl, same. This I watched on a plane. Great plane movie. Okay. Um, I was I was confused at first because God, this is going to sound so bad and no one isolate this. The domestic abuse didn't seem like domestic abuse, which you then later learn is kind of the point. Like in her mind, she was justifying it,
mhm,
or the retelling in her mind was like, it's not that bad. It was an accident. But as the viewer, I'm confused. I'm like, wait,
mhm,
was it an accident? Wait, did she actually trip down the stairs? Like, it was set up in such a weird way that the
mhm.
reveal at the end, I was like, "Oh."
Yeah,
Right, did you feel the same?
I felt the same. I was confused by that initial scene when the quiche burns.
Yes,
And I was like,
yes.
"Oh, was it violent? What happened? Did she
Did he
slip and
burn
fall?"
himself and it was like, "Ow?" Yeah, it was
Yeah,
weird.
it was very confusing. I can justify that approach because they were trying to be different and tell the story from a perspective of, like you said, this is what she's been saying to herself. This is what sometimes
Yeah,
victims do. So, okay, I get it. But that's the least concerning part, and it is still concerning.
yeah.
They were not a good match.
No,
Uh, I will be
no.
honest, I was pleasantly surprised by his acting skills
Mhm.
and his presence.
Sure.
Uh, I just
It was a hard role, you
He
know?
was, and he played it well. He was a good villain, but she just did not fit the role at all.
Yeah.
They didn't look good together. Uh, something was off. I also did not enjoy the costumes that
Oh my
she
god, same, Luby.
it
She
was
apparently wanted, and I think this might be a point of I don't know if it's in the lawsuit, but just what's been said was that she
mhm,
wanted more control with wardrobe. And
mhm.
so I think some of those costume choices might have been her idea, and they were so weird.
Horrible.
Like you couldn't justify it character-wise. I was like, this character who is a florist in a small town, like, would not be wearing this to a party. Like it just didn't make sense. It
Mhm.
was striking or interesting or maybe like a fun choice, but like not for that character in that movie.
She was she walked into that party as Serena. That's the problem.
Yes.
That's what Serena van der
100%.
Woodsen would wear. That
Yes.
wasn't a florist, and that's a big problem.
Yeah.
And just like day-to-day clothes that she chose, it's like layers from a thrift shop
Yeah.
or I saw a meme like, when you're traveling and you can't fit everything into your suitcase and you
Uh-huh.
just have to add layers and layers, and that's how it looked. It looked odd, and also there was a very expensive Valentino bag and Louboutin shoes. And how can a young florist who just graduated college afford all of those things? And I don't know if you had a chance to see her. This is like her old stuff is really coming back to bite her ass, man. There
Ooh,
was an old interview with Forbes with like the whole theme of the of that event was, it was a live event, like a panel of like female empowerment in film industry. And she was like, I pretend when I go to castings
I
that
saw
it,
this.
so that is going to bury her in court, because right there you are unveiled, like you have unveiled your spiel.
Yeah.
It's
For
fraud.
those who didn't see, she essentially said, "I like to do more than just act. I like to have more creative control. I like to be in the meetings. I like to, have some say. So I pretend like I'm just going to do my little acting thing. But then I work my way into the room and I start saying how I want it." And so it's like, okay, so you're tricking people? So you're in fact not doing your job that you were hired to do? You're stepping on toes. You're
Mhm.
diminishing potentially other people's jobs and points of view. It was strange. And, again, I did not watch the whole interview. As we all know, y'all like to just pull little things and make people sound a certain way. But that's pretty damning what she
Mm.
said. I mean, I don't know in what greater context she was speaking, but in that little bit, it's like she's being manipulative.
And it's going to cost her $400 million.
Is that how much?
Yeah,
Damn.
they were sued for $500 million, dude. That's crazy. And Justin Baldoni now has um, a billionaire backing him up and paying all of his legal fees. What is going on?
What billionaire?
I have.
How do I get one?
I know. I know. I mean, I can't get anybody to buy me a round of drinks. What is
It's
going
truly
on? I mean, I
listen,
did see in
we'll take
chat
what we
here
can
that
get.
somebody's offering me chicken, like to buy. Oh, they were proposing, Joanne. I'm sorry. And in my
Oh.
culture, they have to give livestock for me to be married. So that's what.
Oh, that's so
How sweet.
sweet.
And uh, I don't know who the guy is. I'm looking up. He had a Slavic last name, so he's like, oh, my Slavic bro. And I don't know what the deal, but to mention their SNL little stunt, that's what the lawyer was referring to when
Mm,
they said we are not joking when we're talking about it.
yeah.
And what do you think about them going to the red carpet and to the event? Would you ever do it?
Listen, I am sure Blake Lively's legal counsel advised against it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but they are celebrities who have other businesses and you can't just not be in the public eye. I
Mm-hmm.
I would have tried to lay low, but and I think that they knew it was going to be brought up because it is such a hot topic at the moment. So they were like, well, instead of being the butt of the joke, let's be in on the joke. But anything you do or say right now, opposing counsel can use against you. Like she and her husband must not be that serious about this because they're going off and they're profiting off of it, which, could lose you all that money.
Mm. But is it a joke if your wife was sexually harassed?
It
Would
shouldn't be.
But just imagine your
Yeah.
husband like, "Oh, she was just what did you hear about it? What do you mean? Huh? What?" Ryan's
Yeah.
reaction. And by the way, they're saying that like staff member from SNL said that Ryan came up with that joke last minute. And I don't know if you've seen the video when he says it. What did you hear? Blake is mortified for a second because she wasn't sure what he's going to say. And then it
Okay.
all rolls into a joke. And she kind of starts
Oh,
smiling.
see, that makes more sense because originally I just figured that an SNL writer had approached Ryan Reynolds to be like, "Is
Mm,
this okay?" But the fact that if it was his idea, it makes total sense. I also don't think he would have told Blake about it. So
yeah, and these whole theories coming that he is behind all of this and that he's a huge narcissist and uh like
well,
even his
I
his
think most
drama
celebrities
teacher,
are.
of course, his drama teacher came up and like wrote a letter that he was like a sociopath when he was 13 and
Wait,
trying to,
seriously?
yeah, yeah, and said like he was in my drama class and we had to kick him out because he was a terror and made everything about himself and was a horrible child, borderline sociopath.
Wait, now
And
I'm thinking about me in my high school acting classes. God, am I going to have someone stand up and say those things about me? Possibly.
I it's tricky because when stuff like this happens, I'm like, I've been a villain in somebody's story in
100%.
life.
I think we all have.
It's just how it goes. But
It's
then,
just the stakes are way higher for these people,
yeah,
you know?
uh,
So and like I don't know. I think when you get to that level of fame, like you try to be even more careful or more cautious or do things by the book more. And it just seems like they're creating their own pile of shit that they're stepping in.
that's absolutely what's happening. And they're like not even slowly anymore, but surely just losing everybody's. I'm not gonna say respect, but just opinions have changed. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But my opinion on Meghan Markle has
Mm.
never
Oh,
changed.
you've
It's
always hated this girl so much.
always disliked her, and I know that that's my thing. I have like visceral reactions to something that
You've
doesn't
developed
feel.
a twitch.
Yeah, as soon as it's Meghan Markle, that's it.
Ah.
Uh, when I feel that somebody's, and I know this is going to sound corny, but I don't like somebody who's not genuine. I feel it and it bothers me.
Sure.
Even in my friend group, like all of my friends will tell you, like, I'm the first one to call somebody out. Or like, no, you don't mean that. No, but nobody wants to hear that. Like, I'm really so fat. It's probably something from my childhood. Who knows? But I just react to it immediately. And she like brings that in me, like that feeling. It always keeps coming out of like, you're a phony. You're a phony. Stop it. Nope.
Mm,
And a lot of influencers do that to me.
yeah. Oh, of
Uh,
course.
just that when it doesn't feel natural, I react like that. But anyways, Megan is rebranding again, Joanne. I don't know if you've heard about that.
Well, honestly, America Reservoir Orchard, whatever it was, that was
American
wordy.
Riviera.
Riviera instead of reservoir. See, that's New Jersey versus California. I go to reservoir. Um,
Oh, it's her fault. She picked out a silly name. Who can remember
yeah.
that? I'm a
Yeah.
foreigner.
But it's like it does make you think, Luby, if something isn't working, do you just rebrand every year? Like, do you just change the name? And it
I
feels like that's what she's doing.
I mean, if you look back how many times she had started from scratch and started new things and made jams and did this and did that and started a podcast that went nowhere and started the Invictus show on Netflix that nobody watched and just like always different things that somehow go nowhere. And it's fascinating to me that she had everything, if you think about it. The whole world is watching. Oprah was on your speed dial.
Truly.
Everybody was, and you managed to fail. That's a skill. How? How by now you don't have a podcast that has steady following. It's
That is kind of crazy,
that's
honestly.
insane.
What
And
was it? Was it a 20 million Spotify deal?
it was a 30 million as far as I remember.
Like,
It's
that's
crazy.
wild.
and you had Mariah Carey as one of your first guests, and you had Paris Hilton. You have all the celebrities in your. You could have been Call Her Daddy,
Yes,
glam
that's what
version,
I thought about. Yeah,
royal version of. But what her producers are saying, and the Vanity Fair article that came out maybe a month ago. I don't know if you had a chance to read it. Of course, I read it, and the reason why I kind of paid attention to details to the Vanity Fair Fair article is because they ran it through multiple legal departments and lawyers before they published it,
sure.
because Meghan and Harry are known to sue people very easily. That
Yeah,
is their thing. And Vanity Fair wanted to like not publish anything that it don't stand behind with receipts. So they never spoke up, Meghan and Harry. So that tells me there's a lot of truth in that.
sure.
And the producers spoke up and said that she was a terror, that she was,
Wait, is that in the article?
yeah, she was a
Oh.
monster. She wasn't nice. She had a skill of yelling at people without raising voice. Have you ever
Mm.
been yelled at with,
Oh god, I wish I had that skill, but I don't.
ah,
I'm not good at confrontation, but I wish.
I think that I know how to do that.
See, that makes me kinda like her a little bit.
I know. I admire her on a lot of
Yeah.
levels. There's a lot there. There's a
Yeah,
lot going
fair,
on there.
fair. Yes.
Oh, for
You
sure.
will you'll give her an inch, but she won't take a mile.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
But then they're saying that her lack of, to go back to what you said at the beginning, of of ability to be authentic.
Yeah.
Her her always wanting to overproduce and over edit every episode, and always wondering how she's going to be perceived, and not being relaxed in a conversation, and being obsessed over some details that nobody paid attention to. That's how you can grow your audience, and that's how podcasting
Honestly,
has to have either your honesty, or if you're not being honest, you have a character and you stick to the shtick,
yeah.
or you have a theme and you stick to that. But to build the whole podcast on, as a woman to a woman, let's talk. You're gonna get to know the real me.
Yeah.
That was an intro. You get to know the real me, but we don't get to see it, and it's all perfectly
Yeah.
edited.
Well, you said it right
It
there.
failed.
Perfect. And I, as a perfectionist, can see that in her from a mile away. I watched was it on Apple? There was that documentary about her and Harry.
Yeah, it was on Netflix.
Was it Netflix?
Mm-hmm.
Wherever it was. I mean, fuck, I'm spending millions of dollars on all of these streamers, but uh you got a sense of that from her, certainly from childhood. She was a great student, super involved, took all the classes, was doing all the right steps of things. And then what was the show with the suitcases, Deal or No Deal? She was one of the models for that, right? So it's all very presentational, and then in the acting world. And I think perfectionism is a big thing, and I have learned over my years. Am I old? No, I'm not older than Meghan Markle. How old is she? 40?
She's 1 year older than me. I believe she is 42.
Okay. It's taken me a while to learn that, like, actually perfectionism isn't great. It
Mm-hmm.
will, in fact, hold you back,
Mm-hmm.
and you won't get to fully experience or fully grow in whatever it is you want to do. And I think as soon as she starts to, I don't want to say fail, but feels criticism or feels like things aren't going exactly the way she planned, it's sort of like abort mission, or it's like, I have to pivot. And as a result, no one is seeing the real her. She's not giving everything her all because she doesn't want to fail in that way. And so I think sometimes people, God, it sounds so bad, but like they almost want to see the failure. Like, we need to see you low and then see you like a phoenix rising from the ash. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's what people want. And we've never really seen that. We've seen in that documentary how, God, how low she was at points. We've seen how hard it was on her being in the public eye, the tabloids over in the UK seem fucking awful. But
Mhm.
like, again, there was still this veil of like protection around her, this bubble.
Mhm.
Um, so it's like you're either real or you're not. And it's okay if you want to be standoffish and people don't actually get the real you. That's fine. Like you were saying, if you want to be a character, you stick with one thing, that's great. But like don't claim to be just this open and honest, real, relatable woman when you're not.
Well, you're not. And look at Kate Middleton, who's always been so reserved in public,
Mhm.
borderline boring, if you will. Uh, in a good way. I bet royals love it because she doesn't
Yeah.
cause any drama. But she knew how to. I'm not gonna say market herself in a way, but like I'm a mother. I'm William's wife. I have nice style. I'm going to be pleasant, and I want to work for children, mental health, and I don't know which direction also but those two directions she took, and she never
Mhm.
pivoted.
Yeah.
That was it. Those are the
Yeah.
charities she works with. Those are the things she talks about when she's a guest somewhere. She doesn't talk about anything. She stays on boring brand.
But
Good for
also,
her.
talk about a great rebrand. Remember, she was the lingerie model. She was like is she a party girl? Like, what is this?
Mhm.
Ooh. And I bet you she can pound an expensive bottle of wine like nobody else, but we don't see that. And
Mhm.
that's okay. I think
Mhm.
she has now understood, oh, well, I'll just be this in public. That's way easier. And then behind closed doors, I can do whatever I want. And she probably finds some liberation in that.
Yeah, and I also think that she's been so steady over the years with her persona that if people saw her drinking beer and cursing, they would be like, "Oh my god, she's great."
Yeah.
She earned it
Yeah.
somehow. There's
Sure.
like this way of like it would humanize her. It would not make her a phony.
Mhm.
But then when you see Megan in Canada a few days ago at Invictus Games, like just like she has like this like tense smile that's almost like with her eyes popping out. It's that control freak behind her that's
Yeah.
always like coming through and like try hard to hug everybody and then move that lady in a wheelchair and all of the wrong moves that she makes because she was in a way to take a picture. So whatever, dear God,
Oh my god.
dear Lord, and just like things like that, and then you are immediately taking a step back. You immediately don't
Yeah.
want to deal with her. And American Reservoir Orchid, that was
Yes.
that was her brand for a while. And the reason why she pivoted, my dear Joanne, is because she never got the rights for it. It never
Oh.
passed. She was rejected, which is embarrassing.
But here's what's more embarrassing.
Trademarking failed.
The new brand she has picked as ever apparently is already the name of a clothing brand in New York City. And her crest, I don't know why a business needs a crest, but it is the same crest as a small town in Mallorca.
She needs a crest because she's still a royal, darling.
I
Like,
guess so.
Joanne, please, darling. They were horrible to me. They treated me like trash and kicked me out, but I'm still a royal.
But you know what, Luby? I don't even
Why
blame
you?
her. I don't blame her. I blame her team. She can afford to have an incredible marketing team who can look into all of this, get all those legal ducks in a row, and they haven't. I would fire every single person who worked with her in the last year.
And we're coming to a perfect point, Joanne.
Okay.
She fires everyone at first inconvenience, going
Oh, God.
back, and that's what Vanity Fair confirmed, going back to the point. She's a perfectionist. She has a vision. If you say anything opposite, she gets rid of you.
Like, sorry, we're going to have legal troubles. The name you want is not available. She's like, you're fired.
Basically.
Okay.
Basically,
Love
I
it.
think they called her Terror in Heels or something like
Wow.
that. And they were saying that she was a terror to the staff in Buckingham Palace as well, and that she had this thing of always hugging William when she sees him, like hugging and kissing William when they were first living in the cottage next to the Buckingham Palace.
Uh-huh.
That made William and all the staff uncomfortable because that's not how they act over
Ye
there. There's like certain ways of
You know what?
conducting yourself. So I think like
I
there was
will
a lot going on before they left. That's for sure.
just for her defense, for fun. For sure, there are people on that staff who were racist. So, like,
Oh,
you know, um, for
what?
those who said she was a bully, I'm like, ah, well, you're a racist. So that's a weird battle to fight. Um, and then with the William thing, I don't know, Luby, have you ever dated? Well, have you ever dated an Italian?
An Italian? Have I? I might have. Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
Okay. I once got in trouble when I was dating an Italian for when I walked into his home for like the millionth time, not immediately going up to his father and giving him a kiss on the cheek. Like, I didn't.
Mm.
I think I like still said hi. I might have given him a hug, but like there's certain things. So maybe in her mind, she's like, I want to make sure that Harry knows. I
Mm.
know, he's close with his brother, that like I'm good with his brother, or like if I get in good with the brother, things will be good. So maybe in her mind, she was thinking, I'm trying to just, as the perfectionist, I want everyone to like me
Mhm.
without realizing, like, you're over the pond, girl. People don't do that here.
You're
I don't know.
overdoing it. And there might be like this uh, control element of like, I will make everybody like me and I will make every moment perfect and I will do this and I will hug it. So
Yeah.
there's definitely some traits that have been shown over time that are kind of making sense. There's a pattern to it.
Yeah.
And I definitely have made a bunch of mistakes in interactions with boyfriends, families, and in general. Like there's
Yeah.
you can get uncomfortable. You never know what families uh rules are, if you
Sure.
will. But there is a thing that annoys me with her is that you say that you didn't know anything about Harry or royal family or royal rules
No
is
way.
something that will never sit with me just because you go on one date with a random guy from Brooklyn and you found his birth certificate online. That's
Yep.
just how life works right now. It's
Yep.
just, and especially if you were going to the royal family, like, first of all, they give you training and there's a lot of things going on there. Like, I would be so invested in researching
Yeah.
and
Well,
also
she was a good student growing up, and as an actress, you know how to prepare, you're playing a role,
exactly.
like, you wanna give a good performance.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that is strange.
And if you were criticized the first time for hugging, because she was criticized for doing that, to keep doing it to the point where staff, you're right, half of them are just haters and horrible people. Who knows who they are? And we don't know. But in general, there's like too much that doesn't add up. That for her, but you're right. And I prepared a little article that says so Meghan Markle has found herself in the center of a major controversy again after revealing her new logo and her new name. Turns out that the previous name, the name As Ever, is stolen from a small New York-based vintage clothing company. And the logo featuring a palm tree and two birds is exactly the emblem of a small Spanish town, Porreros. I don't know how to pronounce this.
Nice.
Uh, Also, the name of the mayor of that city is Xisca. I mean, my name is complicated. LJUBI.
Jaika? Maybe?
Jaika, Haika.
Yeah.
Good, good grief. Her last name is
Quafa?
Moral. That's
What is
good.
it?
Her last name is Immoral.
Amoral. Great.
MOR. Okay, cool. Something easy. They were thinking of suing, but they understand that it will never bring any results.
Yeah, they said they can't afford it.
Of course. And then they can't. A clothing brand based in New York City has spoken after Meghan Markle revealed that she is changing her name to As Ever. The company, also named As Ever, shared a post on Instagram saying, I want to say thank you to all of the old friends who know us and love us and our small family brand as ever. In the last 36 hours, there has been an outpouring of support and concern regarding recent events around the namesake brand. We are aware. We are not affiliated. Blah, 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 da, 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 da. We won't sue you because we don't have the money.
You know,
They both say the same.
I have never heard of this brand, and I have lived in New York for a while. I went to the website for the first
Me
time
too.
ever. You're welcome, as ever.
You are welcome.
They sell about 10 things. I think there were 10, and it was mostly like patchwork sort of jackets,
Yes.
very like Brooklyn looking kind of stuff. And it's I get it that you as a small company have so much pride in your brand, and yeah, as you should, and it's your name and you were there first. But like you are getting a lot of people now Googling
Mhm.
you.
Yeah.
I don't
Um,
know. It's kind of
I'm the
nice.
first one who went. I'm the first one who followed them on Instagram. So I think it's going to do some good to them for sure. But I'm so mean. I always find bad stuff about
Yeah.
Meghan. But I'm thinking of, even if you're not Meghan Markle, even if you're anyone,
Yeah.
for you to go on Instagram and type in as ever, and then clothing brand comes in on your screen, you're like, damn. Oh no, now I can't do it. It's there.
Yeah.
It's right there. And by
Yeah.
the way, she took two Instagram handles from people before. Megan used to be owned by other Megan, and now she kind of took it over. And Royal Sussex page was also created by a fan, and she took over. So they're like saying like that she has tendency to take over stuff just
Huh.
because people can't sue her, and she will always have larger following, so those
Interesting.
people will fall behind. So they say it's like a tendency of hers. But also one thing that annoys me, if you are pivoting, give me something. If you go to the website as ever,
Mhm.
the only option for you is to become a subscriber.
Yeah.
They collect your email and have a great day.
And that's it?
This just tells me that, again, this pivot was chaotic, last
Yeah.
minute, not thought through. Give people something when they go to your website. Uh,
Yeah.
uh,
A
well,
picture of you with jam, something.
anything, a little statement of what is it going to be about. If you are rebranding, give us something about that new brand and the new approach.
Yeah.
uh, and the video that she made to announce it, where she's in the garden all disheveled and Harry filming it, again doing the same thing. Look, I'm relatable, I'm in the garden, and just like, oh, Harry, you have the phone, oh goodness gracious, just, oh, let's just take the video now. And
Yeah.
everybody's like, you thought about this for days before you did it.
Mm.
Why are you pretending like it's spontaneous?
Well, and the other thing that we talked about with the Vanity Fair article and just her perfectionism, I think most people would have like a brand person
Mhm.
on their team who is in charge of the rebranding and all of that, the socials, the this, the that. Honestly, she's probably doing it all herself.
Mhm.
And it's stuff she didn't go to school for and she hasn't worked in the market in all these years. So like, yeah, she had her blog years ago called the
Take.
the Tig, which I didn't realize was taken from a wine name, Tiglielli or something. Um, so maybe she has this false sense of confidence because she's done it before. But again, how quickly sort of like the internet and advancements like kind of move and like trends in socials. And so it's not the same. So even if she was successful at doing that before, it's now been many years and like you kind of need someone on your team who can advise you. I don't know.
Uh, Tig was pretty successful, and I remember her Instagram before Harry. Just because when there were rumors they're dating, I already started following her.
Uh-huh.
And I remember the boyfriend that I dated at the time was obsessed with the suits and loved her. So I had her on my radar. And um, she was not as popular as now. She was an
Oh,
actress for
yeah.
the show, and so people were not nitpicking everything she did, right? She could
Mhm.
get away with a little bit of like, "Oh, I'll take this from here, blah blah blah." Also, you don't have to be that original when you're posting about food and traveling. You know, it is what it is. You post what you cook, you post where you traveled. I honestly think that Tig was nice. That is her best product. Uh,
Mm.
she was, if she was ever authentic, it was there. Tig was
Yeah.
her that Instagram era of hers was the best, and that's why the following came with it because uh, I believe it was a character she created, of course, but successfully. Look, I'm fun. I remember
Yeah.
she had a video of like having raspberries on her fingers and just like eating all of them and like smiling and just being cute
Oh my
and
god, is that
cooking.
what I have to do to get followers?
Well,
Jesus.
in 2015, I guess. This was 10 years ago. She would travel. This is when all of this started.
Yeah.
So it was popular at the time. It was just a thing that
But
everybody
Luby,
did.
why wouldn't she then just start Tig up again?
I personally think when I saw the cooking show that we are going to see on March 4th,
Which was delayed, by the way.
correct, I was like, I like it. But what?
Interesting.
And I'll tell you why. In this context now, it's garbage.
Yeah.
We know who you are. We know you're not a cutie pie that cooks. We just know too much about you.
I heard she was using like, that's not her garden.
It's not her garden. It's not her home.
Her
Um,
home doesn't have, like, this garden that's featured in this TV show.
and she presented it me cooking for my best friends, and then half of those people she didn't know. That was just people that are famous, and she asked for a favor. So
Oh, boy.
whatever. What am but why did I like it? And what I think it's a great product that was created too late. It is her
Hmm,
niche, it's her strength, but it's too late. Had
interesting.
she had she leaned into that years ago, uh, just like you said, bring back the tick, give us your chickens that you're raising with Harry, glimpses of your kids, make a cake, then be fabulous at the gala in the evening. That's where the money was for her. And then if year or so later she had a cooking show, I would have watched it. It would have been one of the things that I shuffle, like Great British Bake Off. It would be a thing that you watch.
Yeah.
But she could stay on brand, be consistent, but starting over way too many times, causing issues, being suing everybody who says anything against her, and then just being a monster. Just as
Yeah.
Vanity Fair says, being a rude monster to everybody you work with, it
Yeah.
catches up with you. Today, you can't hide these things.
Yeah. She's also, like, dipping her toe into so many things
Hmm.
that, like, I almost wish she only did jam.
Exactly.
Like, start with just jam and make it the best jam in the world and then branch out, and I'm gonna talk a little Bravo for a second. Craig Conover from Southern Charm started with pillows. He was like, "I like making pillows," and everyone made fun of him, but he was authentically like, "I just really enjoy it. I sit down with my sewing machine and I do some embroidery and I make these pillow covers." And then it expanded, and now he is truly trying to be the Martha Stewart of Charleston, South Carolina, which, like, yeah, start, do one thing and then expand. And, like, then you'll have a follower base and people who see you grow and want to grow with you. And Megan is just not, she's doing it the other way and it's not working.
That's exactly it. Again, had she stayed on brand, brought back her Instagram, posted glimpses of her life, cooked, showed us her backyard, showed us the animals she's raising, the little farm she has,
Yeah.
made fantastic jams, I would be in.
I'm curious about the
She would have
jam.
been my
I
real
mean,
housewife. I would have loved her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow.
I would have loved her. But now it's just way too many things happened. And again, with everything that she was given, the world as her stage and all of us knowing who she is, and to gamble it and to lose it, it is fascinating. It's definitely a skill. I will be on March 4th glued to my TV because this is what I do, and I watch all the trash out there, and God bless me and everybody who
God
is like me
bless
and don't
you.
have a life. And before we wrap up, I wanted to ask you,
Yeah.
you just mentioned Craig. Craig and Paige broke up.
Ah, I
I
mean, we
know
saw it coming.
we all saw it coming.
She
But did you
didn't
see
want she didn't wanna commit to, like, anything, moving, marriage, kids, none of it.
nothing? Poor Craig
I know, I
again
feel
goes
bad.
through this. But did you see that her and Hannah are hosting the Oscars party, the Vanity Fair Oscars party?
No. Oh, that's exciting.
Paige is blowing up.
Oh, wow. Good
She's
for
so
her.
popular. Good for her.
Honestly, I, like, still like both of them.
Yeah.
Like, there's no part of me that's like, I'm gonna pick a side. I'm like, "Y'all were your own the whole time." I don't know.
I love Craig. He is so sweet and innocent. You remember Anne Marie Castillo?
Yeah.
She was in a commercial with him years ago when he was not that
Oh.
popular, and says he's the nicest, the sweetest. Paige is Paige is a queen. Paige is my queen, queen of confessionals. Did I ever tell
She's
you
so
that
funny.
she's so funny? I ran into her on my way to compound at the this like next to a sewing shop, whatever it was, where you
Like,
buy textiles,
in the fashion district?
fashion district,
Yeah.
Jesus. And I looked like death. I just woke up. I had no makeup on. I was like, I'm gonna go there and just have coffee and refresh my face. And on my way there, one of my nails broke. So I looked horrible. I looked horrible. And there she is, Joanne, looking like a sweet little angel that she is.
Yeah.
She's tiny. I mean, I am big, but she's tiny. And I'm losing my shit immediately. I'm like, Paige, I'm sorry to do this to you. We're taking a picture. You're my queen. I love you. And she's like, oh my God, of course. Yes, yes. So I take my phone out. And as I'm trying to find the camera app, she's scanning me, trying so hard to find something to compliment me about, but I look like death. So I give her nothing. And she luckily saw only my right hand with my nails. And she's like, oh, I love your nails.
I love your 9 nails.
You're I wish you said that.
That's
I really
funny.
wish.
That's
But
sweet of her.
she wasn't condescending. She really wanted to be nice to
Yeah.
me. You know when you're talking to somebody, you take a
That's
weird
what
pause.
women do. We're like, "Let's find something to compliment."
She
Yes.
was fighting hard. That was a battle, and she won it, and God bless. And I
That's
also
nice.
have a story with Lindsay. Do you know Lindsay from Summer House?
I'm not a
Lindsay
big Summer
Carl.
House watcher, but was she
Lin
the one that was engaged?
Yes.
Okay.
Lindsay sent me drinks and called me on my phone to say hi because I promoted her brand once.
Oh, that's nice.
Isn't that cool?
Is she Loverboy?
No, that's Amanda. I mean,
Yeah.
Lindsay was a lover boy when she was with
Okay.
Carl, but when she broke up with Carl, they were no longer a lover boy. Why do I
Okay.
know all of this? I'm not ashamed. I'm leaning into this fully.
Um,
Joanne,
wait, real quick before we go.
please.
I might know someone interviewing for Real Housewives of New York.
What?
I might know someone. It's not me. I'm not doing one of those. I'm
Wha-
not.
Wait. Of course, you can't say anything.
I can't,
Can you
but
can
they
you
might.
text me?
Yeah, I'll text you.
Okay. I promise I won't Baldoni you and do this and like post screenshots.
Oh my god, yeah, please don't.
No. It's not worth it. But that is my dream.
I know.
That is my dream. If I on one episode, if I can just do you know that
Well,
I put
apparently they had put out, like, a casting notice,
in
which
New
I
York?
didn't see.
Joanne, this is our chance.
But don't you want to see how a real married woman living in Queens lives? Look at these expensive guitars and poop statue behind me.
You understand it's all fake. They rent apartments for the
Oh, yeah.
season.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would
we can
need
do
to
it.
I would need to find someone with a nice apartment. I can't rent it.
I think they give you some money ahead, like they pay
Oh,
you
okay,
upon
interesting.
the contract, and you waste all the money on trying to look fabulous.
Truly. Yeah, right? You gotta keep your
I
job.
I pitched to Andy in a drunken moment of mine that again I'm not ashamed of. Real Housewives of Astoria, like
Yes.
Queens of Queens, with all of like the interesting immigrant stories. Like
Yeah.
we have immigrants that became millionaires here, and then there's
Sure.
me, and like all of us meshed together. Be so much fun.
And you need one white friend, so bring me in.
Yes, please. There you go. We have a poor friend. We have a white friend, Miss you, who is Miss New York. We have everything.
Yeah.
We just, I think this can work. But again, if you don't want to text me when you see me, let me know. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm dying. I'm dying. I'm screaming. And whoever that person is, if you ever get it, think about me sometimes while you're, while you're, do I know the person? Do I know them?
Yeah, I don't think you've ever met them. I've talked to you about them, but you've never
Okay.
met them.
Okay, okay. I know that I'm trying to interview SC Cup. I'm trying to set
Oh,
that as
nice.
well because
Oh, yeah, she has that Bravo Connect.
she knows everyone, and
Yeah.
I think like I have so many questions for her. She knows everyone. She's
Oh, and
Shep's close friend.
yeah, she loves talking about it too, because it's like she doesn't have to talk about politics. It's great.
We were supposed to film something, um, but it was around election, so it wasn't a good time for
Yeah,
her
no.
just because it was so busy. So let's see. I hope it works out. I have a show at 8 p.m. tonight in Astoria. Otherwise, Joanne, I'd be talking to you forever,
I know
but I
this flew
literally have
by.
to. I have to change and run to a show that I'm doing tonight, but it's luckily 10 minutes away from where I'm at. But I I don't know what to say. Thank you. Love you. You're
I
the
miss
best.
ya.
I miss you.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with you.
I'll come
I
back
don't
on
know.
anytime, let me know.
Yes, please. And I don't care if it sounds Baldoni creepy. Obsessed. That's
Well,
it.
and we'll have to have you on Morning. That's Morning with Bill and Joe.
You know that I can't wait for that. It's just good old days.
You
I
know,
love it.
it's
Thank you so much again. And we have to catch up again soon.
yeah,
I'd love
sounds good.
that. Thank you.
Bye, all.
And good night. Woo! Are we still on?